to Parliament. One of them is to bring about an act that will be called the Kumu Registry and Statistics Act. At the moment, what we do have right now is that we have agencies that have ownership of the numbers. So National Statistics Office do their own numbers, they keep the numbers to themselves. Electoral Commission do their own numbers, keep their numbers to themselves. NID do their almost I would call it a biometric numbering system that they have. That's their number as well. What the Act will do now is that the reform will do with this new Act is that what it will do is that it will bring an agent or an entity that will have ownership of the number. So all these agencies that are operating will create these numbers, and then this one entity will take charge of the number and own the number. So that means that if the common roll needs to be rolled out, it will be rolled out from this single number. So that way, somebody cannot go and manipulate the common roll. They cannot add names that are not registered under this. So we will have one entity that has ownership over that number, so that it allows that single number to represent what the country is. And then from that number also, from that Act, it will also allow, for example, police. If they want to do a search on anyone, they can have access to that number. If education wants to register people, they can use that single entity to register our children in school. So we will be able to manage that through this single entity. So we will bring that Act into Parliament. Of course, it will go through the process to ensure that we do not cross into legal aspects of it. To ensure that the Act is user-friendly and it will protect all agencies involved in that. The other thing we would like to also do with NID, which we would like to bring a reform, is to make NID mandatory. And we're not using the word compulsory because we don't want to impede on people's rights. But what we want to do is use the term mandatory, because what we want to do is that we want to be able to manage and control our people in Papua New Guinea. The important thing is that we have people across our country that we do not know that really exist or are not there because of our systems that have failed us in the past. So the NID registry will become mandatory, and it will be tied to business houses and public services as well. What it will do is that we will look at, and this is a discussion going on at the moment, is that we will look at the possibility of NID working in collaboration with all the private companies, with all the business entities, with government stakeholders, everybody. And we will be using the HR network to be able to register all our people across the country. And this is important, particularly when an incident happened, which we call the duck. I'd like to use the word duck Wednesday. I don't want to use black because it may not come, it may be seen as a racial connotation, but use the word duck Wednesday, where people that committed crime, looted, and all that, were able to get away because we just couldn't identify who those people were. So by ensuring that people are registered, not meaning that we are depriving the rights of our Papua New Guineans, but to ensure that if law needs to step in to correct the wrong, then we want to keep a track of that. So these are important things that we'll be bringing some of the reforms. And what it will mean now is that even like we want to roll it out to a point where if you have to purchase a ticket to travel from point A to point B, you will require an identification card to allow you to purchase the ticket. That will also allow government to ensure that when people are migrating between provinces and districts and cities, we can track them. That way we know their whereabouts. If anything goes wrong, if anything happens to them, we are able to identify them quickly and then, of course, inform families of anything that is required of them. So these are important things that we'll be rolling out. Of course, there may be some negative criticisms against it, but the rest of the world is moving into digital space, and Papua New Guinea needs to follow in that way, so that that allows us to be able to identify our Papua New Guinea, but also allows other government agencies and private agencies and non-government agencies to also use this record to be able to justify that this is the number of Papua New Guineans we have. One of the other things we want NID to do is also to expand the work they're doing, is to go into schools as well. So we want to go when a student gets into grade 7, for example, we want to issue them certificates, not ID cards, because you have to be 18 to register. So we give them ID certificates. So that way we are able to track that student, even if it means uploading their school credentials. So someone cannot photocopy you, or someone cannot take your identity because you are now tracked from your high school. And then once they get to the age of 18, we can be able to then issue them with ID. So that way we have a system that is working to make sure that we keep a strong management of our people, and make sure that our people are well captured within the plans of the government. So even agencies like planning can have actual data now. Once we complete the national census and once we complete the NID registry, our government departments can be able to plan better, because then they will have a correct statistics or population number or working numbers that they can work with to ensure that they plan properly and better for the future.